love my tennis, do some tennis coaching, and I'm a bit obsessed with my tennis, training up to play in some over 40s events. But Jenny tolerates that reasonably well. Even on our honeymoon, allowed me to go out and have a bit of a hit of tennis with a local guy this morning. That was fun. He was a very good player. He'd played, he's a local coach. He'd played tennis representing Fiji for their national youth team, and just a really nice guy, incredibly friendly, and we got on well. And so he's offered to show us around Nadi a little bit where he lives, so that's a great opportunity as well. I mean, we're going to go on some tours, but having someone that's more of a personal connection and knows the area, lives there, that's going to be great as well. So yeah, so it's a win. It worked for tennis, it also worked for our Fiji experience. Yeah. Initially we went to a Hindu temple. In order to go in, we were asked to cover up, so we had to wear, basically I had to wear a covering to cover my bare legs wearing shorts, and Jenny had to wear a covering for her legs and also for her bare shoulders. And there was a donation type entry fee. We went in, had a look at this temple.
You have to be barefoot.
Oh, you have to be barefoot too. Yeah, we had to leave our shoes aside. So yeah, it was very pretty, detailed paintings and sculptures of Hindu gods, and a bunch of things. Like there were, what are they called?
Deities.
Deities, no, but what do they call the worshippers or the
devotees?
Yeah, the devotees were there. The Hindu devotees were there, participating in ceremony, and our friend told us about some of the ceremonies, some of the ceremonies or activities that devotees participate in, including walking around the temple. I think it's 105 times, and then there's there was tying some string to a particular tree within the temple as a means to ask for good luck, and various rules that wishes, various rules around you're not taking photos in certain areas, and there was a sculpture that was built in on sort of little gold and metallic sections. Every year another section was added to the sculpture. On top of the temple there was, I think it is sort of like an incense stick, or at least some sort of a stick-like structure that was placed on the top of the highest point of the temple, which is again culturally significant. It was explained to us. So yeah, it was really nice to get a beautifully presented and maintained temple. And I don't think I'd ever seen or been in a Hindu temple. Have you? I don't think I'd done that before.
No, that was my first time.
Yeah. So that was really interesting. They have a vegetarian restaurant next to the temple as well, which has been recently built. We had a big breakfast, so we didn't eat there, but yeah, it looked really nice as well. So after visiting the temple, our friend had planned to take us to the Garden of the Sleeping Giant, which is a relatively well-known botanical garden, in Fiji. So there's these mountains that they call the Sleeping Giant mountains. From above, I believe they look somewhat like a sleeping giant. You sort of a human type silhouette. And yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, this botanic gardens. A big walk through and around basically like a tropical rainforest with some man-made structures. They had, I think it says that there's 2,000 different types of orchids in this area cultivated, and they have like a man-made pond with beautiful lily pads, and a section that's used for wedding ceremonies, including swings and a covered, well, like an arbor, and then a structure covered by vegetation, within which you have the ceremony, have a series of hammocks that you can lie in, all within this kind of tropical rainforest setting. So yeah, really, really pretty. The walk itself took around 20-25 minutes to complete. And not particularly arduous trek or anything. Some steps and slopes, but all, well mapped out. The trails were all maintained.
When you finish the
Yeah.
walk, they greet you, welcome back, and with a welcome back drink.
Yeah, you get like a tropical juice, really tasty. So yeah, that was really gorgeous and a great experience, well worth doing. And there was a bunch of tour groups that were there as well, but we had a private tour with our friends, so that was really nice. There's another attraction relatively close by, just out from Nadi, which is a mud pool and hot springs attraction. So essentially there's a hot spring, like a natural hot spring that is on site, and the water comes out from under the ground at, we were told, 70 or 80 degrees Celsius, so like really, really hot. Yeah.
The first thing you do is put mud on the bottom of your feet, so that your feet are not burning hot when you're walking around. And then next you grab a whole bunch of mud from the top and you just slather it all on yourself. And so the only thing that's left that you don't do are your eyes and your privates. But everywhere else has got to be muddied up, including your armpits, apparently.
Oh, you're not supposed to do your privates, right? Okay, all right. Sorry, I got that bit wrong.
And then you stand out in the sun with all this mud on you, and it's surprisingly cool because it's like a natural sunscreen, and then you don't feel the heat of the sun on you like you would if you on your bare skin. And after about 5 to 10 minutes, the color of the mud starts to change into a grey, and then when you start caking, then our guide told us to jump into these hot springs sequentially. There's an order. So the first one was to basically wash all the mud off, and then so we got most of it off, I think. But then we were then told to go to a second pool to wash more mud off.
The water in this second pool is, it's still pretty murky, so clearly you've got to still get some mud off yourself while you're in that pool. And then
I think you're mostly clean by then, and then they let you into like a swimming pool before you go into the hottest pool of all, which was about 45 degrees.
Yes, yeah, but the last one is very, very hot. It's like a very hot bath. Like you put your foot in and you're like, I don't know if I can actually get in here. But we did manage to.
I submerged myself up to.
Yeah, I even dunked my head under.
Yeah, so it's doable.
Yeah.
But any longer you'll be cooking human soup.
Yeah. Yeah, and it certainly makes you think. I don't want to fall in the natural spring that's 70 to 80 degrees. You wouldn't last very long in there.
You'll be cooked alive.
Cooked alive very, very quickly. So, yeah, 40 to 45 is very, very warm as a bath temperature. So by that stage, finally, the guide then hoses you off to get almost any remaining mud off you.
But it's very cold because you go from a 45 degree pool to being hosed down with cold water. The shock on your body is quite stark difference.
That's right, yeah. And I mean, out of the tap, it's not like it's particularly cold water, but it's certainly not, warm bath water, so it is a bit of a shock. After we had done so we're hoping on.
We had this rain shower that was like torrential rain coming down. It was really, really bizarre because Krishan had told us about these showers in the mountains.
Yeah.
And we were a bit confused by what he meant, that there would be raining in the mountains but not elsewhere. And we experienced it.
Yeah, it was really bizarre, and it was quite heavy rain, but then still very sunny, just very isolated, I guess, to the mountain area. So that was unusual. So we had this very quick shower, and then we went to get some lunch and drove back closer to the resort. There's a restaurant called the Boathouse Restaurant that's very close to the resort. We've been there a number of times now. Very nice, beautiful. Like it sits at the entrance of a marina, and the sunset's just absolutely gorgeous there, and even during the daytime, it's gorgeous outlook, turquoise water, and the food is nice. So yeah, we ordered our friend and ourselves some lunch, and had I with my friend I had a Fijian beer, and yeah, it was a very nice end to the day. Our friend had to run off. He's a tennis player, a tennis coach, and he had a tennis session to get to, and yeah, the lunch was a bit on Fiji time as well, so he was kind of stuffing it down at the end, but I'm told he did make his lesson, so that was a positive. So on the following day, I was off to feed my tennis addiction again early in the morning. There's another local tennis club in Lautoka, which is about 15 minutes from the resort. So I was meeting up with a young guy who's part of the Fijian national tennis team to have a hit, and we were going to start early. The plan was go in, I'd have this hit, and then we'd head on into Lautoka. I believe that Lautoka's the second biggest city in Fiji after Suva, so it's bigger than Nadi. I think that's what I've been reading, and they call it the sugar city, right? Because there's a really big sugar mill there.
From what we saw in Nadi town, I think Lautoka was bigger.
Lautoka definitely looked bigger, yeah. The geopolitical happenings at the moment. There's a Russian billionaire's yacht has been seized in Fiji, and we saw news of it the other day, and yeah, we saw this yacht,
and then we headed into town, and they've got a big market there as well, and we had more pineapple.
Yeah, more of this delicious pineapple that we've become addicted to. Yeah. This one, they put a whole heap of this sugary red kind of sauce all over it, and I had to have that one. It made it even sweeter. Yeah, but amazing. The pineapple's amazing. Yeah, but it's kind of a similar vegetable and fruit market to the one in Suva. All sorts of beautifully stacked vegetables, pineapple for sale, carver area, a whole bunch of carver for sale. Haven't yet got through the kilo of carver that we bought at Suva, so we didn't need to pick up any more of that. But we went and had a little bite at a place, an Indian-style restaurant. It's
Indo-Fijian.
Indo-Fijian, yeah. It's quite nice. Well, there's a lot of bones in the dish, so it tasted nice. We have to be a bit careful. We weren't used to that. But yeah, got ourselves a bite of this chicken curry with rice, and then roti and fish curry. It's quite mild. Got a gigantic big juice to have. And after we'd munched that down, near to the market area in Lautoka is the central kind of bus depot. We saw that, okay, there's buses here. Well, maybe we can actually work out how to catch a bus back. Maybe we'll try this experience, catch the public transport.
But you need a card, so that basically all the bus drivers work on a cashless basis, and people just, I guess, tap on whatever. But we didn't have one of these cards, and we asked if we can pay the driver in cash, and we were told that that's fine, and only be a few dollars to get from Lautoka to Ruda Point. And so we had looked on the signs where people were waiting, and we found Ruda Point. I thought, okay, we'll sit down there. You can explain how the bus system works.
Well, yeah, I mean, so there's different bus bays, and they have the names of the places that they're going, and the buses themselves will have some information on them. We still are not entirely clear as to whether the correct bus will definitely be in its allotted parking spot or bay, because we were just given so much conflicting information. Some people were saying, "Oh yes, absolutely. You know, the Vuda Point, which is just where our resort's located. The Vuda Point bus will 100% be in this bay. Not to worry. Yep, that's where it's going to come." On the timetable, there was supposed to be a Vuda Point bus coming at 12:30. So we were there before 12:30, quarter past or something, and asked, "Oh, has the Vuda Point, is it been yet?" No, it'll be in this, it'll come into this bay. But then these same people that we were asking, who were very helpful, mind you, including some of the bus depot staff, and very more than happy to help, really trying to help us out, were asking kind of buses not only in our bay but in the opposite bays, and so it wasn't entirely, even though they were saying they were very, very confident that the bus was going to come in this allocated bay. We were a bit sceptical because they're asking all the buses all around whether they're actually going to Vuda Point, and most of the buses would say something like Nadi or Lautoka, or like not awfully descriptive. So yeah, we weren't particularly sure what our bus might say on it if and when it did ultimately arrive.
The process to find out whether a particular bus is going where you want it to go is to knock on the driver's window and ask, "Are you going to Ruda Point?" And then they'll say no. and then you keep asking every single bus along the different bays, and then that's the way the locals do it.
Then there was like another situation where the bus came up, and then all these people lined up with the bus, like, you know, Nadi, and it's like, oh, okay, well, how did they know that was their bus? So it was I'm still confused about how it works, but yeah. One thing's for sure, lots of people were trying to help us, and there was certainly lots of knocking on windows going on, and bus drivers saying, no, I'm not going to Vuda Point, no, the next one will be Vuda Point, and then the next one would arrive. Are you going to Vuda Point? No, not Vuda Point. So
we gave up. After an hour.
We were terrible failures. We wanted to catch this bus and do it like the locals do, but we gave up, and so the bus was scheduled for 12:30.
The next one wasn't until 3:30, so we thought we're not waiting until 3:30 for the same story to happen again.
Exactly. At 1:30 we gave up, and we just caught a cab back to the resort.